Running isn't just movement. It's a continuous series of single-leg collisions where you must stabilize up to 3 times your body weight in milliseconds. When you run, you are never supported by 2 legs simultaneously. You are effectively performing thousands of plyometric single-leg squats, demanding distinct neuromuscular coordination that traditional bilateral lifts cannot fully replicate. The sum of force you can produce with each leg individually often exceeds what you can lift with both together. This bilateral deficit proves your nervous system wires single-leg activation differently, accessing motor units that remain dormant during 2-legged squats. Without a second point of contact, your pelvis relies entirely on lateral hip stabilizers. If the gluteus medius fails to fire, the hip drops, forcing the knee inward and leaking energy that should be propelling you forward. In a heavy back squat, stability is inherent. In a single-leg deadlift or split squat, you must actively align the ground reaction force vector through your ankle, knee, and hip to prevent rotational collapse. However, do not obsess over perfect symmetry. Humans are naturally asymmetrical. The goal of single-leg work isn't to make left equal right, but to ensure the weaker side meets the minimum strength threshold for safe loading. Research suggests a strength imbalance under 10 to 15% is generally functional. Imbalances exceeding this threshold correlate with altered kinematics, forcing the dominant side to overcompensate during high-volume training blocks. Unilateral training is also the most effective way to overload the eccentric phase safely. This mimics the specific demands of downhill running, where the quad must lengthen under tension to absorb impact without buckling. Late race form breakdown is rarely cardiovascular. It is local muscular instability. When stabilizers fatigue, your stride shortens and ground contact time increases as the brain perceives a threat to stability. Does this mean you should abandon bilateral lifts? No. Unilateral work builds stability, but bilateral lifts like squats and deadlifts are superior for generating maximal raw force output. You need high force production to increase your power ceiling. Your progression should move from stable to unstable. Start with static split squats to build tissue tolerance, move to dynamic lunges for deceleration control, and finally integrated step-ups for propulsion. Do not add artificial instability devices like Bosu balls. The instability should come from the load and the single limb stance itself. Adding a wobble board reduces force output, diminishing the strength adaptation we are trying to create. You cannot correct a collapsing stride by just thinking about it while running. You must build the structural capacity to resist gravity on one leg in the gym, so your mechanics hold up automatically on the road. Build unilateral stability to maintain mechanics when fatigue sets in.